Thank you very much for coming, and it's great to be in Cologne, great to be in front of you. It's a bit scary with all these cameras. There we go. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that are happening at Lionhead, and we're going to talk about some existing stuff, and we're going to talk about some new stuff. And it's great to be able to sort of unveil this new stuff. So let's move forward. So firstly, I want to talk about Fable. Now, I love Fable, I love the land, I love the progression that we've made with Fable. I'm proud of the success of Fable 1, I'm proud of the success of Fable 2. You know, I think you can see this ambition that we had to sort of drive this forward. My line to you press guys still haunts me of the greatest role-playing game in all time. We're still striving to do that. And it's very important for us that we make those ambitious steps. So we've got the team still together, and they're still working on Fable. And you know, you've seen over the past year, you've seen a number of PDLCs with Not Whole Island and See the Future. See the Future. There was a few little clues in there about what's happening next. But you know, I'm still greedy, and we're still innovating. And I've got a little bit of an announcement about Fable 2. And what that is, let's just move forward, is something new called Fable Episodic. Now, if you think of Fable, how many people in this room, by the way, played Fable 2? Okay, quite a few, that's good. So you think of Fable 2, when we designed the story and the drama of Fable 2, we kind of broke it down into 5 different chapters. The first of those chapters was when you went through childhood and you came out the other side and you went into this gypsy camp and you were kind of a bit free, and then you found yourself to be a hero and you took on your first real big battle. That's what we call Chapter 1. And what we're doing with Chapter 1, as from September the 29th, we are going to be giving these 5 episodes, episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, we'll be releasing those. You'll be able to download the first episode completely free. And here's the thing that really excites me as a designer. If I give something away free, if I give this first episode free, when you're in game and you're fighting Thag, and you get to the end of the Thag battle and you kind of release the slaves, wouldn't it be great to then come up and say, hey, are you enjoying this? If you want to continue playing, then you know you can spend a few more points and download the next episode. Maybe you're not quite sure yet whether you want to buy the whole thing, or you can buy the whole thing. Now, I think as a designer, this is really exciting. Keeping a player in game, not requiring them to go out of the game and check online and wait for new things to come. I think that's very important. And for me, I think it starts to show an interesting way that we can develop our experiences. So we're doing all this, and as I said, we're releasing this on September the 29th. You'll be able to download this. This is fully compatible with the other things that you can buy in the Fable world, with Not Whole Island and with See the Future. And, you know, I think it's another brave step that we took. And my hope is that the people who thought, role-playing games are not for me, might just try something that's free. So that's you know, one of those announcements. But let's move on a little bit, and let's move on to talk about something else. So we move to the next slide. I want to talk about, it's a bit dramatic, they did this for me, so I could reveal this, it's working. Now, of course we're developing Fable 3, we would be crazy, we'd be insane not to develop Fable 3. But, you know, here's the thing, here's the problem. The third child is always the problem child, whether it be human beings or games. They're the problems, especially a game that comes out the second iteration on the platform. You know, I've played many games where, you know, the third in the series tends to be a little bit of a lull. is, there's not so much innovation in the game anymore. You kind of get bored of playing the character. You get bored of the world. And we've really thought about this. So when we thought about Fable 3, we started thinking about some of those challenges. Now, we want people to expect the unexpected. I want the fans, and indeed you, the press, to say to me, "Oi, you should clean up this from Fable 2 and clean up that and give us more of this and more of that." But I really want you to say, okay, give us something new, give us something fresh and something different. And there's two ways that we can do that. The first way is that we can give you new game mechanics. And I think in Fable 2, we made a really good step forward with the dog. We made a really good step forward with things like the breadcrumb trail, the one-button combat, the no death in battles. Well, we're not going to stop there. What we're actually going to do is we're going to still question some of the foundation stones. And one of those foundation stones I'm going to tease you with, because you've got to try and guess what it is. I think there is something fundamentally wrong with games like Fable, with role-playing games. Some fundamental mechanic which is insidiously built into the game. And it's been there since the early 80s when we first started playing role-playing games. And I'd like to take that foundation stone and throw it away. I'm not going to tell you what it is today, but I am going to set it as a puzzle for everybody. What that big fundamental foundation stone is. The other thing is that we have to be bold with the story and the drama. And that's really, today, what I really want to focus on. How can we totally surprise you with the story and the drama? So let's move on to that. And let's just see where we are with the Fable story. So Fable 1, you were one of many heroes. You were a hero in a guild of heroes, and there were other heroes in the Albion world who, challenged you and who were as good as you, and some even better than you. That's pretty good. Fable 2, we moved it on 500 years. You were one of many heroes. Not one of many heroes anymore, you were the only hero. And one of your job was to bring other heroes together. The age of heroes was kind of dying out. So the question is, what can we do with Fable 3? How can we take that big step forward? How can we take a big step forward in the story? And I think, I'd like to pose this question. For me, as a games designer, it's all about power, about you feeling powerful. So I just want to show you this campaign that we put out on the web about 7 days ago. We put a number of iconic figures from history. And in fact, history is a great inspiration. And I want to just show you this little clip from Fable 3. It's a Fable 3 teaser. Let's see what you think.
The kingdom of Albion is changing. The land needs a ruler. King or queen? Cherished leader or ruthless tyrant? Pure or corrupted? That future has not yet been written. The race for the crown has begun.
Okay, so that is what you're going to become in Fable 3. You are going to become the ruler of the whole of Albion. You've played in this land from Fable 1. You've been one of many heroes, as I said. In Fable 2, you became, a very important hero. Well, this time, why not rule Albion? Why not be that king or that queen? Why don't we make a game which is so different to Fable 2, where your consequences and your judgments affect not the people